All right, good evening, guys. My name is Kiruba Shankar. What I do for a living is I run a digital and social media consulting firm, which means we advise corporate brands on digital strategies and execute it for them. And I'm also a professor of digital marketing. I come from a picture postcard village, and I remember as a kid, we used to have a joint family, and in the house I remember my grandfather having these old gramophone records, and even my dad and my chitapa would have these LP record players, and I grew up watching them. And over a period of time, things have changed from short form records to long form, then over to your cassettes, and then to CDs and MP3, and now it's completely on the cloud and it's on demand streaming. And as it started to move, just like everything else in life, we give up on the things that are no longer of use to us. So at my own home, a very impressive collection that my dad and my grandfather had in terms of LP records. And you could see that nobody really cares about them. After my grandfather passed away, my father's not interested and nobody to take care of it. And you'll see it cracked, broken, scratched, molten, wet, and it just goes to waste. And similarly, I've also seen that when I visit my relatives or friends, and then I have this conversation with people who have antique stuff, and this is time and time again, this is the story that goes on. It's no different than if you saw beautiful century-old colonial bungalows. I don't know if you guys remember this. Opposite to next to Music Academy, right across the road, right now you see a swanky big glass and steel office building. But before that was this beautiful colonial bungalow. You guys remember that? I mean, every time I go down that road, this used to be the apple of, I just can't adore that. But time waits for no one, and real estate does not either. So it gets pulled down. The least one could do is at least start to capture this digitally. So that was really my motivation for vinyl records. Much like how I can't save vinyl records from going to waste, but what I can do is at least the ones that I have, can I digitally capture them for posterity. I have 2 daughters, and if I give them a pencil and a cassette and ask them to draw the connection between the two, they have no clue, right? Even cassettes, and she's wondering what the hell am I talking about, right? Yeah, he's like, what are you guys talking? So what I really wanted to do was not only to collect these records, but to digitally capture them for posterity, so that when my daughter's grandkids grow up, at least they will know what was there earlier. So that was really my motivation. So what I started to do was, I started to pick up the ones that I can, and one chance visit that I went to what was then the Moore Market. I started to go in, and in that Moore Market are these 2 phenomenal shops that has reams and reams of these old vinyl records. Colonel Shankar, you would know this. You would have gone and hunted that. He's a collector of vinyl autographed vinyl records, right? That's like one notch above what I'm doing. So when you go out there and you look at all these beautiful vinyl records, they're selling it at like 20 rupees a piece, 50 rupees a piece. And if it is the highest value is MGR ones, because all ADMK workers want to come and pick it up. Aged ones, they want to save that up. And it's really sad when there's, it's almost become like commodity, right? In my village, Sandai, they were selling tomatoes for 10 rupees a kg 2 weeks back. They was like, yeah, take it and go away. And that's how these guys were selling out. So there's really no respect out there. And sure enough, I see people coming and buy, as did I. I picked up a lump sum and went. And the sad thing, though, is not so much the collecting bit, but it's really the safeguarding of those. So what I started to spend time and effort was in, it's one thing is in collecting, but it's a completely different thing, at least maintaining it and conserving it for others to appreciate. So people, I'm assuming that you would think that I'm a connoisseur of music and I love, actually I know jack shit about it and I don't even care. I'll show you some of these fabulous collections. So somebody wrote to me, they looked at this collection and said that, oh my goodness, I mean, this is just so awesome. You're living my dream. And, really old. I haven't even listened to a single one of those. That's not my motivation. My motivation is that this is a unique collection, A, and B, this is not a common collectible item, that people don't do this. And even if people do collect, they're not taking good care of it. So can I be one of those very few people? Colonel Shankar is probably one of them. Very few people can I do that. So that's really my motivation to do this. And what I started to do was, because I run a digital marketing company. For 24 years, that's all that I do. So I use social media as a way to do the outreach. So I would go up, so I have the site called kiruba.com/records, and I would go put it up, and I would ask that, hey, if you ever come across something that's going to waste, and if you think you can't take care of them, would you please be kind enough to ping me? I can happily come, meet up with you, I can collect it, and I can take care of it. I don't own it, it is still yours. Feel free to come and pick it back again at any time you want. I'm not in the business of selling, I'm not in the business of buying. I'm just the caretaker until I live. And it's very interesting how, lots of people have reached out. I want to tell you a story about one of them. This is, so let me just get their names right. This is Sridhar on the right and Lekha on the left. So Sridhar on the right is a IT consultant working in Porur, and Lekha works with the Indian Railways. So Lekha's father used to had a collection of about 40 vinyl records, and for them, they wanted to give it away because it was just occupying space. It was spring cleaning time, and they wanted to clean up their house. This was becoming a thorn in the flesh for a long time, and they wanted to actually sell it off. They gave me a call, would you be interested in buying? I said, no, I'm not in the business of buying, I'm not in the business of selling. So I told them that spiel. And one fine day, they just landed at my house and said that we'd like to give it away. I don't care. Nobody is willing to buy it. So here, just take care of it. And if you feel like, we'll come back and pick it back again. Great. Happy to help you out. Last week, there was this couple who came for the music kacheri season from California. So this guy is a multi-millionaire. He started an IT company. He sold it off to Oracle. Now he's in the philanthropy space, doing help. So he came down and he had this really massive collection with a beautiful, absolutely gorgeous looking vinyl record player. And he was very clear that he did not want to sell. He wanted to give it away to somebody who can just take care of it. He found my website, we had this conversation. He had his wife and his relatives all interview me, and then finally it passed through and they handed it over. So that's the story of my collection. I also collect many other things. I'm vying to be the Limca Book of World Indian Records for being the largest collector of comics. I collect, I'm now publishing a coffee table book of century-old colonial bungalows in all the countries that the British ruled. So I'm traveling across 8 countries, Southeast Asian countries with the colonial rule to go and capture old bungalows. So things like these capture. So for me, it's a juxtaposition between vintage and digital. And can I marry these two for the sake of posterity? That's about me. Thank you so much, guys.